Hey everyone, it's Dorothy, and today I'm going to show you how to make this chocolate cake. It's just a basic chocolate cake. You can make a layer cake or a sheet cake or cupcakes. It's moist and rich and delicious, and that frosting, oh, it's to die for. You're not going to want to miss this recipe. Everyone needs a basic chocolate cake recipe in their life, and this one is my favorite. I make it all the time. You can make it as cupcakes or layer cake or however you want. It's so easy and it's so delicious. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cake as a layer cake. Now, my friends, remember, I'm not a perfectionist. I'm not a professional cake decorator. I struggle with making layer cakes, but this one, it's gorgeous. Look how pretty it is. It's easy. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it. For more delicious desserts and easy recipes, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Now let's get in the kitchen. To start, we're going to gather all of our dry ingredients. So mix 1 3/4 cups of sugar, 3/4 cups of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 teaspoons each of baking powder and baking soda, and 2 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour in a large bowl. Just whisk that together and set it aside. Now we're going to mix together our wet ingredients. I'm using a large 4-cup measuring cup for this, but you could use a bowl as well. You're going to mix together 1 cup of hot water with 1 cup of buttermilk, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 2 large eggs, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Just whisk that together, and then you're going to add your wet ingredients into your dry ingredients. Just whisk the ingredients together until the batter is formed. It's going to be a thin, chocolatey batter. It's super simple and easy, no mixer needed. Now, before I start my cake batter, I'm going to prepare my pans. I'm using 9-inch round cake pans today that are 3 inches high. You wouldn't want to use anything that is shorter than that, or it will spill over. You could also use 8-inch rounds or a 9x13 pan, or make cupcakes, your choice. To prepare the cake pans, I'm going to use the non-stick cooking spray that has flour in it, but you could also butter or grease and flour your cake pans. I'm also preheating my oven to 350 degrees. I want to make sure that my oven and my pans are waiting for me and ready when my batter is ready, because this cake has baking soda in it. And when you have baking soda in a recipe, you want to bake the dough right away. In a cake recipe, you want to bake the dough right away because the baking soda is going to start activating immediately. And if you wait to bake it, the cake won't rise as much. All right, my cake's all divided in the pans. I'm now going to bake it at a 350 degree oven for about 30 to 35 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less. It just depends on how even your cake layers are. It also depends on what size cake pan you're using. You'll know that the cakes are done when you put a toothpick in and it comes out clean. Then let the cakes completely cool before removing them. Once your cakes are cool, it's time to remove them from the pan. So a trick I have to loosen them is I run a butter knife around the edges and kind of lift up a little bit just to make sure that it's not stuck to the bottom of the pan. And then I use a little sheet of wax paper to cover the top of the cake so that my hand doesn't get dirty. And I flip the cake over onto my hand, tap the bottom of the pan a few times, and the pan will just release the cake. And then I flip it back over onto a cutting board. No matter what I do, no matter how even the cake batter is in the pans or how I bake the cakes in the oven, I feel like my cakes always come out a little bit lopsided. So what I do is I flatten the tops of the cake by using a serrated bread knife and just slicing horizontally to level them out. Place the bottom cake layer on your cake plate, and now it's time to make the frosting. This is my favorite fudgy chocolate frosting recipe. The caveat is you can't make it ahead of time because it starts with melted butter. So the butter is going to harden if you let it sit, and then you can't really spread it. It gets kind of gloppy. So I get the cake all ready to get frosted, and then I make my frosting. To make the frosting, you're going to whisk together 1 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 5 cups of powdered sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just whisk that together in a large bowl and set it aside. Then you're going to add 2 sticks or 1 cup of unsalted butter to a small bowl, and you're going to melt that. Then add your melted butter into your powdered sugar mixture and add a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to mix this with a hand mixer until it comes together. It's going to be a little bit chunky, that's all right. And then I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of whole milk. Now, it's really important that you use whole milk in this recipe and not heavy cream. And then I'm gonna beat this at medium to medium-high speed until it's nice and smooth. Make sure to get as many of those little lumps out as you can by upping the speed on your mixer. And that's it. That's the perfect fudgy chocolate frosting for this cake. And now it's time to frost it. To frost my cake, I first add a layer of chocolate frosting onto the bottom layer of the cake. And then I add the second layer. And then you're just gonna frost it. This frosting is nice and smooth and silky as long as you're frosting as soon as you've made it. So go ahead and add some frosting on the top, then frost the sides. I like to use a spatula to add some, like a chunk of frosting to the sides. And then I'm using an offset spatula to smooth it out. It should go on nice and easy. If your frosting hardens a little bit, you can heat it up just for a couple of seconds in the microwave and then mix it with your hand mixer. If needed, if it gets a little bit runny, you can add a little bit more powdered sugar to thicken it back up. Once the cake's frosted, I like to add a little bit of decoration around the top. So I put the frosting in a pastry bag that's fitted with a Wilton 1M tip, that's the star tip, and I just pipe little stars around the edges. And then my favorite part is the sprinkles. I love going to my sprinkle wall and deciding what kind of sprinkles I'm going to use, what colors. Today I'm just using some bright rainbow sprinkles. Put them all around the top and sprinkle them all around the edges. This cake is gorgeous. And that's it. We have our chocolate cake recipe. Look how pretty it is. It smells amazing. That fudgy frosting, I'm drooling. I cannot wait to try it. Let's cut it and have a taste. You guys, if you're a chocoholic, you're gonna love this cake. It's rich and moist, and that frosting is so fudgy. Oh, it's so good. If you're in the mood for chocolate or for cake, this is the recipe for you. I hope you love it as much as we do. Leave me a comment below and let me know what your favorite kind of cake is. I can't wait for you to try this. I'm gonna go enjoy this slice of cake while you keep watching.